Well, I'm alone again. I still don't know where Chrissy is. She disappeared after the end of the last episode. I found her! I think I found her this time.
Okay. Let me
Chrissy!
try. Let me try one more time. I don't
All
have
right.
feet, so this is really hard. Okay.
Hooray!
Oh my god, you wouldn't believe where I've been.
Well, I mean, I know you were Dan Aykroyd last time, so...
Look, I've seen things, man. I was stuck under the seats, and the seats were really sticky because people keep dropping their soda pops and their caramel corns, and I couldn't move. And I don't have hands, which makes this all the harder.
Well, and it makes your face seem a lot more fitting, so...
Yeah, indeed. But then Dan Aykroyd pried me out with his with a copy of Nothing But Trouble.
His big meaty claws.
Yes, but you know what? He told me, Chrissy, it's me, Dan Aykroyd. It's like I know who you are, Dan Aykroyd, star of cinema and TV. And he said, yes, but as payment for doing this, you need to say on the Power Bottom Hour, your opinions of the Banana Splits movie.
We're not calling it that.
And then I told Dan that. I told Dan, I think the show's called Cinema Gremlins, not the Power Bottom Hour. And also, I think in canon, we don't have a name for the show because we're just kind of stuck in this movie theater. And he's like, "Shut the fuck up! I'll stab you." And then I got scared.
I don't know what happened to Lauren, so.
Yeah, I can't find Lord and Chris. They keep saying stuff about popcorn and a food court. I haven't seen a food court around here. I haven't eaten in 7 days.
And I'm not eating you. And you're not eating me. And if you do that, I'm going to kill you.
I mean, I appreciate that. Thank you. But so, yeah, the Banana Splits movie. Have you heard it?
Yes, I have.
Okay, excuse me, creepy movie theater,
Ghost theater, can you give us the poster, please?
Yeah.
That's not the poster!
I mean, it is a banana.
It's a banana, but that is not the poster.
Okay, Ghost, you gotta step up here, right? Okay.
You gotta get the Banana Splits movie poster.
That's Dan Aykroyd from poster for Yogi Bear.
I don't even know what that poster is. Oh, it's Yogi Bear. No, it's Boo Boo.
Okay, look, Dan, we'll talk about Yogi Bear at another time. Okay.
Will we?
Look, if I say that, he'll leave. Oh, there we go.
There
Thank
it
you,
is.
Ghost. So, yes, the Banana Splits, everyone's favorite horror movie franchise, along with Scream and Dude, Where's My Car? Except the car is Christine from Stephen King's Christine.
Dude, where's my Christine?
But yes, so the backstory of this movie is the Sci-Fi Channel, known for such great things like Sharknado and the weirder seasons of Mystery Science Theater. I guess they got the rights to the Banana Splits, and they used a rejected FNAF script to just make this movie.
Has that ever been officially confirmed that that's what it was?
It's widely believed. Also, this entire film is shot in South Africa, which I feel like makes it a tax write-off.
I would not be shocked if it was, honestly.
But yeah, I remember first watching this when this came out with Lizzie and Chris in a call, and this movie is garbage. But man, when you're watching it with friends, it becomes so much more funny.
Oh, good, because I watched this by myself yesterday, and I did not have fun watching this.
I think we found the root of your problems. But yes.
The
also the lead singer of Fall Out Boy does the theme
Yeah.
song in this movie.
Patrick
and he uses,
Stump does the theme.
Yeah, and he uses his birth, the actual spelling of his name instead of the pseudonym spelling that he does.
Which almost makes me think that he was too ashamed to use his stage name, so he used his real name.
Yeah, it was so bad. But let's start. The beginning is a great place to start. So, Michael, why don't you are the one with the fresher memory.
Should we explain what the Banana Splits is, though? I guess for people that don't know.
Oh yes. So the Banana Splits was this Hanna-Barbera property back in the early 70s, maybe mid 70s.
69, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so early 70s. And it was interesting coming from Hanna-Barbera because it was a mix of live-action segments and then animated ones.
And technically, they were not the ones that created it. It was Sid and Marty Krofft, which... do people now even know who Sid and Marty Krofft are? I guess people below the age of, 20.
No, but I mean, Hanna-Barbera had the distribution rights, and they were the ones who animated the animated segments for the programming block. So it's a co-production, like a Ruby and Spears Hanna-Barbera co-production.
Right, because I guess if I should explain, Sid and Marty Krofft were I'd say pioneers for a lot of 70s children's television, because they were the ones that made... God, how many shows did they pump out in 10 years? 12? They created so many shows in the 1970s. It was H.R. Puffin Stuff, The Land of the Lost, Lidsville. God, what else? Sigmund the Sea Monster. Tons of shows that were basically... They were basically just characters, live action human characters, and a guy in a weird costume or several weird costumes. And they were very weird, very trippy shows. I'd recommend them. I think they're really fun, but I don't know if they'd hold up today. Especially something like, I don't know, H.R. Puffin Stuff.
Yeah, and to be clear, the show was produced by Hanna-Barbera, but the costumes and sets were Sid and Marty, which is why it looked so Puffin Stuff. But but yeah, it makes it's I don't know if it will hold up too well, which is why doing something submersive and kind of different with it kind of works in this way, like they did here. I mean, with varying levels of success. Because, not gonna lie, I found the Banana Splits a little bit creepy as a kid. Tra-la-la.
See, what I remember is that I had first heard about the Banana Splits because of the, there was kind of a weird revival in, the mid-2000s for, a period of time on Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
And it lasted, I don't know if it even lasted a whole year. I just remember as a kid being like, what the hell is this? They never...
It was in 2008, Warner Brothers did it because it had, new shorts and music videos. And, Bill Farmer was one of the characters, and so was Frank, and Carlos Alazraqui did Trooper.
I was Wacky.
I'm sorry, I'm slurring, but it was. I think it was on the Cartoon Network website, and they had.
No, I remember it aired on TV. I remember this airing on TV several times.
Yeah, but they also had a DVD and a CD, and then they had a child area called Banana Splitsville at Myrtle Beach or something.
They for some reason there was just. Yeah, they for some reason just really banked on the Banana Splits just out of nowhere. And I don't know if there was just this weird nostalgia kick for Sid and Marty Krofft in the late 2000s, because there was that, and there was the Land of the Lost movie, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. I believe I can fully believe that they just did that so they could reinstate their copyright status.
Oh, you think this was a fan four stick situation where they just made it just so they could still own the rights?
2008 revival. I think the Banana Splits movie that we're talking about today, I think that was more like, hey, we have this IP, we have a script, let's do this. I mean, next year we're going to be releasing a movie where fucking Scooby-Doo fights Scarecrow. So, anything to the wall at this point.
It's so funny because when I was watching the movie, I swore this movie came out in like 2017, like
No, it's
2016, 2017.
February
Yeah,
2019.
it does not feel like it came out that soon. This movie feels like this came out like 5 years ago to me.
Mm-hmm. It has the feeling of a mid 2010s movie. Because to me, some of the God, you remember the Goosebumps movie, not the one that's in theaters.
You're talking the one with Emily Osment, the one that they did in like 2009.
Yeah, the one that's on Cartoon Network. Yeah, it had that feel to it. In that there's effort put into places, but it feels very TV movie. And I mean, yes, this got put on Sci-Fi Network. But I mean, like, the auras of both are very close together, which feels weird because I'm pretty sure this movie's rated R.
It is. Oh, 100% this movie's rated R.
Yeah, like some of the things that make it rated R, I'm gonna talk about because those are some of my favorite parts of the movie. But yeah, let's give a brief synopsis of this movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen the 2019 award-winning Banana Splits movie.
The hit Banana Splits movie that, now that I'm looking up the home media sales, didn't even make $500,000. Which is really funny to me.
I like when I look it up on Wikipedia. The film received mixed to positive reviews from critics with praise for the performances and its plot. Of all the things to praise, its plot.
The plot. Okay. So the plot of the movie is that, and I don't understand how this world works, which was one of my biggest problems. So basically, the Banana Splits is a hit TV show. And it's modern times. It's not the 70s. It's a hit TV show. And basically, there's this little kid. I don't remember a single character's name in this movie.
His name is Harley.
I remember Chad and Poppy. Those are like the only two names. Thad and Poppy. Those are the only two character names I remember.
Yeah, those are the influencers.
The social media influencers in the movie. But
yeah,
so
we're getting ahead of ourselves. The kid's name is Harley.
He's a big fan of the Banana Splits TV show. And his parents end up getting tickets to a taping of the show. And they end up going there. And what ends up happening is, I believe Drooper is getting maintenance done. You find out the Banana Splits are robots pretty early on. It's not really a twist because even the trailers show it. But you find out that they're robots. And one of them's they're getting maintenance work done. And something happens with Drooper. And I don't specifically remember what happens. I think there's just like a virus or something.
It just new software updates like malfunction, because but
it only happens when they show it. Like it doesn't happen to the other ones, which I found really weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what kind of software you have in your fucking animatronics that if they're malfunctioning, they suddenly go into Terminator mode, but, with this world.
But yeah, so they go to a taping, the animatronics start malfunctioning, and one by one people start dying. That's basically the plot of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, let's not forget to mention Harley's shitty stepdad.
Shitty? Okay, can I talk about
shitty is the understatement for how terrible this man is.
My favorite line in the movie from the dad, because I can't believe a human being actually wrote this, is when Harley, when they're in the lineup to get into the taping and the Banana Splits are in their car and they're like driving to the studio, Harley, like a fucking idiot, jumps out in front of the car and waves at them, and they're literally seconds away from mowing him down. And then the mom like pulls him away. They stop the car and the mom pulls him away. I'm like, number one, kid, you're fucking stupid.
And
Like
it's not like
like
he's
where's your
5.
fucking
Let's establish here he's not like a
okay, yeah,
5-year-old.
yeah.
He's
So
like
the
10.
movie presents him like he's 5. Like he's 5 or 6. This kid is very clearly like 10 or 11. And it's really weird throughout the whole movie because this kid acts like he's 5 or 6 years old.
And I'm
And this
pretty
kid
sure
is
in one scene where they have the majority of the kid audience watching in like a horror den or whatever,
a lot of them look
most
like
of
they're like 7, like 6 or
yeah,
7.
a lot of them
Like,
look like preschoolers or kindergartners. Which, you know, if you made the Banana Splits a popular show nowadays, that would be your it would be like Wow Wow Wubsy or fucking what's Yo Gabba Gabba. It would probably
Yo
have like
Gabba
a Yo
Gabba.
Gabba Gabba audience, you know? Which would
Yeah,
make it
well,
believable because Yo Gabba
well-
Gabba is also popular with some adults.
Well, and even the movie points out that it's really fucking weird that this kid is into this show. I think even the stepdad says, "Isn't he too old to like that?" Like even the stepdad's like doing that. Like, and again, it's just weird because the whole movie presents him as being fucking weird for liking the show, but they don't really go into any detail about it or like they don't really show him interacting with other kids. They imply he has a best friend, which they never show.
They
Which
also
I also
have like they also do have adult people liking like Thad and Poppy like the show.
Which that's
So
also really weird how they present that because Thad and Poppy. I get that people can like certain things, but the way that the movie presents them makes me feel like, why the fuck are they here? Like they would not be into this show.
Yeah,
The way
especially since the show is apparently failing, and
well,
you could frame it that Thad and Poppy as influencers want to be like, hey, look at our clout, we're here. But that doesn't make sense to a show because one of the big conflicts with the show is that apparently that episode is the last episode because they are.
what happens is the studio executive comes into the office of the manager of the show and says, "Hey, you're canceled." Like, what? Why are we canceled? We still get great ratings. And his exact words are, "Because it's dumb."
It's
like
not,
that's like
it's
his
not
exact
going with
words.
the network's with my vision, which is
With
such
my vision.
which is such a fucking Disney executive canceling Owl House
Well,
decision.
and the way that I had heard that, I'm like, no, it would not just be a you decision. When shows are canceled, normally it's like a board meeting, like board members, like people, like multiple people discuss this. It's not just a guy comes in and goes, "Hey, you're fucking canceled."
yeah,
It's
dumb.
usually like multiple executives that talk about this, and they frame it like it's his decision, and he never talked about this with anybody else.
Yeah, it's dumb. But also let's not forget the other characters because they all do have their moments. So you have Beth, who is the mom of Harley, Harley's half brother Austin. Also, he does bring Zoe, which is apparently his classmate. Then
Who
you got the
doesn't
shitty
like
dad.
him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I forgot
get-
to mention the line from the shitty dad that I liked.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
not liked, but more was amazed by it, was again when Harley nearly gets hit by the car. Beth, the mom, just goes, our son nearly got hit by a car," and the dad just looks at me and go, "Well, that would have been embarrassing." like,
You
like,
really want to kill this man.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Which was kind of one of my big problems with the movie is that next to none of the characters are likable. That's kind of my other thing.
Yeah, but yeah. So you have like you have them, the shitty dad Mitch. There's a hostess on the show named Paige and her assistant Doug.
The page named Paige, which they make that joke like
Thad
5
and
times.
Poppy, the influencers, and then there's a young kid named Parker and her dad. You know, the kind of like my dad is my agent kind of thing.
Her obnoxious as fuck dad, who he had one joke throughout the entire fucking movie is, "Hey, I'm gonna get you to see an agent." Like, there's nothing else to his character.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're performing the show, all this stuff. They are found out that they're going to be canceled. Then the software malfunctions, And the Banana Splits have like this human co-star named
Stevie.
who's like a terrible
Who
angry
is
drunk.
the best character in the movie?
He is, which makes it sad that he is the first one to die.
Literally the first character to die. He's the one character out of a cast of mostly unlikable characters. He's the one character where I think they found the right balance of making him an entertaining dickhead. Because my problem is the dad's not entertaining. The obnoxious producer father is not entertaining. My problem is a lot of these characters aren't fun, or they're not interesting characters. And I know
Yeah.
you don't need to have the most in-depth characters for a slasher movie, but I remember I specifically wrote down in my notes, I think within like the first 20, 30 minutes, I yeah, here's what I wrote. The movie has so many unlikable characters that it makes it incredibly frustrating to watch at some points.
Yeah, but I got to admit, how they kill Stevie is amazing. Because they
Oh my
basically take
God.
like a giant lollipop and shove it until it like breaks the other, like all the way back into his throat. And I was like, this is a thing I will give the movie. How they kill people is creative.
Oh no, that is the one praise I can give this movie is one of the major praises I can give is the kills, because they get very creative with the gore.
Yeah, and like with the exception of like one really obvious CGI blood scene, most of it's pretty fairly practical, but Jesus, like that lollipop one sticks with me because I was just like, Jesus Christ.
It sticks with you.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's also like a so the mom learns that the shitty dad was cheating on her, because of course he is, because he's a piece of garbage. And this is when all hell breaks loose, because the shitty dad finds that the security guard got decapitated. Then he's run over by Snorky.
Oh yeah, can I talk?
Remember this for later.
The weird fucking security guard that
Sal
starts like very creepily talking to like the Harley kid, like when they first arrive at the studio, and he's just like, "Oh, sometimes I see him driving around in their little cars at night." Like, and my favorite is when he dies, he's just standing there like motionless at the gate. Which made me think like, oh, is he going to be like a robot or something? Like I thought it was going to be like a robot security guard, like. And the dad like touches like the dad like pokes him on the back and his head just falls off. I'm like, I know it's unrealistic, but I'm like, that's dumb. His head would not have stayed on there if his head had been cut off.
The security guard, it works with something like Kill Bill or something, because the character's only standing there for a second and then they get dismantled. Not for the indiscriminate amount of time that
the 15 seconds before he taps him on the shoulder. Like,
yeah, but the security guard being creepy is what helps mine and others' theories that this was a FNAF script that got rejected. Because so many pieces of character dialogue and interactions with people make it seem like that there is a haunting element to it. Which there's not. There's no ghosts in this movie. There's no dead.
No, there's not. There's no
murderer.
There's no supernatural shit in this entire film.
It's just a malfunction, which makes it really, really weird. Because like, you have the security guard who's really creepy, and then you got the guy who is programming the animatronics, which I feel like in another reality where this was a FNAF movie, that would have been Purple Guy programming them to like kill you or kill the kids. Like,
see, because I think by the time I got to the part where Zoe and Harley were like walking around the studio, I think once they had started killing people and those two weren't aware that they were doing it, I just kind of sat back to myself and I was like, you know, this doesn't feel very FNAF-y to me. Like, I don't know. Like, if they had reworked it so much to the point where it just started not feeling like a FNAF ripoff, it didn't start feeling like one to me until near the end. Like, I'd say
But
the
that's
last,
what
like,
I'm
30
saying is
minutes
that
of
they
the movie.
kept pieces that were very obviously not for a movie where it's just something goes awry. Like, unless they were planning on a bunch of red herrings and they put the twist that the software update was the killer really early, which makes no sense to me. But like,
you want to know a really weird thing though? Do you know who wrote this movie?
I mean, it was Scott Thomas, right? I know who directed.
Jed Elenoff and Scott Thomas, the creators of Randy Cunningham, the Disney show.
What an interesting assignment to have.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense because they also wrote for The Haunting Hour, that R.L. Stine show, but even then, that's just a really weird pair of people to write this.
Yeah. And let's make it clear, once they start killing people, they go at a breakneck pace with killing people for a good 20 minutes. Because, like, Thad gets killed really fast.
He's the first one. He's like the first one to die.
Of the people inside the studio besides Stevie. Yeah, because Thad proposes to Poppy live streaming and all this stuff. Then Fleagle comes. It's going to be so dumb saying these murders given the names of these...
Bingo, Drooper, and not Snuffy. That's... What's the elephant? I forget the elephant.
Fucking... God,
not
what is it?
I don't want to say it's Fleagle. Trunky. I don't want to...
Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snorky. And Snorky is Harley's favorite.
I combined Snuffy and another... I thought of another elephant.
But yeah, so Thad gets sawed in half. Because of course he does. And then, like... Fucking... they go all Saw with one of the deaths, because I just want to talk about the deaths because they're really fun.
Oh yeah, I think it's the last death in the movie is the Saw one.
Yeah, well, one of them also feels very Saw-ish because like Rebecca.
I think the first one feels kind of Saw-ish, like
but Rebecca. Well, there's one. Well, the whole thing with Rebecca and Jonathan being in like an obstacle course. With like a bunch of
weird
like,
double dare ass obstacle course that they do.
And then Fleagle gets just stabs one of them in the back with the key that was missing when Rebecca completes the course.
And pulls it down and reveals the dude's spine.
Yeah. And then when Rebecca completes it, Drooper smashes her face in with a hammer. It's just like, what?
She's the one character that felt like the least deserved to die, because I feel like Rebecca was like the only one of the whole crew that did get killed. She did nothing wrong.
Yeah, she was just
a lot of the other ones did.
Because Rebecca, I think, was just like the show's like producer.
She was just the producer. Yeah, no, and she literally did nothing wrong. And I know that there are like murders in a lot of slasher movies where it's a character that doesn't really do anything terrible. But that was kind of the one death where I was like, oh, she didn't do anything though.
She was fighting for you.
She was literally like the one like decent person that worked at the studio.
Yeah, but then like... Yeah, but then they meet the creator of the banana splits, named Carl.
The
awesome.
British dude. The weird fucking British dude.
And he's like fucking insane because he considers that the animatronics are justifying what they're doing because the show is canceled. And because of that, he's having trouble with his whole thing of freeing the kids. Which is like, what the hell? What are you programming and what are you smoking?
Well, let me also bring something up because that reminds me of something. Because I wrote this down in my notes. I don't understand how long the banana splits is supposed to have been on. Because when Thad and Poppy are like live streaming, when you first see them, they mention that the banana splits has been around for like 50 years. Like they mention it's been around for a long time.
We're in a timeline where it was like it had the same consistent popularity as like Scooby-Doo.
Right. But what's weird is that when the show gets canceled, Rebecca at one point mentions a 6-year run. Like, the show had been on for 6 years. So I'm like, okay, so is this a reboot? Or what is this? They never really establish what this version of Banana Splits is, because it's like the original show, like, to a T. That's the thing I find really weird about it, is that the movie never really establishes what this version of the Banana Splits is, if it's a reboot or if it is the same show from the 70s.
Yeah, and with how old Carl is, it kind of gives the feeling like this has just been on for a long time with different incarnations. But
Right,
it's just
because when Rebecca mentions, like, 6 years, that just made me like, "Okay, so is this a reboot?" Like,
is this just the version of it where they have animatronics instead of people in costumes? Like,
is this what's new Banana Splits? Like, what version
is this the sister location? Like, it's just kind of like
Banana Splits Banana Splits and Stevie get a clue? What version of this is this?
Banana Splits and Stevie get a clue. That sounds awful. But like, banana Splits Stevie get a clue. I'm gonna sing the song. And then you just see in one of the little silhouettes, there's them stabbing Stevie with the lollipop. Oh, but no, like fucking yeah. So what also doesn't make sense to me is that this creator seems to be saying that like the programming they have is that they go into like bad stuff, do bad Terminator mode when the show gets canceled because they can't process that the show is over. Like the robots themselves.
The thing I found weird is that the movie, I assumed that them being robots was going to be like a twist that people didn't know. Nobody bats an eye at it. The entire movie. Like the kid when Harley finds out that Fleagle's a robot, and when like nobody seems to bat an eye that they're robots. So I'm like, and again, the movie never establishes that that's known knowledge.
It
like the movie
like
never goes like, yeah, they're robots.
It feels like this movie was supposed to have a twist, but an executive said that it would be hard to follow, so let's just put this at the very beginning. Because the twist, like especially the scene where Fleagle gets part of his like felt taken off, so he has like the Terminator thing going on.
Yeah,
that feels like that would have been a third act thing, you know. But but no, like the whole like knowledge of them being robots is like first act, which, you know, just feels so weird. Also, I thought that there was going to be the twist that the creator got really pissed off that the show was getting canceled, so he programmed.
Oh, you thought the thing I thought was that he purposefully like fucked with their heads or something.
Which I think at least, I mean,
like the Child's Play remake.
Yeah, it would have been cliched, but it would have made more sense, you know? But
yeah, like the Child's Play remake where like the one employee like purposefully fucked with one of the toys to like make him evil.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget that apparently this software malfunction just makes them really violent to adults.
Not to kids. Never to kids.
Again, feels like that is something that you can't lie feels like a FNAF-y thing. Like, because the robots in FNAF are, well, dead kids inside of robot bodies. They're not harmful to children. So, but like, yeah. Also, one of the characters just goes fucking insane. Like Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, and wow, they do. Oh wow, they handle that real bad.
Poppy
they don't even try.
Like, Poppy predicts Vanny from the new FNAF games before that even was a thought in the eyes of developers, because she just grabs one of the like an unused mask for an owl.
failed animatronic head or something like that, or like a piece of it, and like the owl, and
Yeah.
like puts it on her head, and then she kills the creator, and then she disappears for like most of the movie, and then she shows up at the end to kill the dad and take the animatronics, which what it ends on that cliffhanger of her running off with all the broken animatronics, and I'm like, yeah, good luck. This isn't getting a sequel, buddy. This is
Yeah,
not
but
getting a
yeah, so
sequel, dude.
like, so yeah, they find this underground passageway because every studio has that. I'm sure they have it all over Universal, but it's like a really creepy fucking boiler room kind of room too. Like this is
And out of nowhere, they're just like, oh, by the way, here's all the dead bodies of the parents. Do you remember the parents? Did you know that we killed all the parents? Like
the
that's what I was
parents,
like.
the studio staff, adult audience members. Like
Well, and what I had said when I was writing my notes was, when did the banana splits have time to do that?
Yeah, how long were we away
They
from people?
right. The movie does not give good notions of time. It does not give us what a good passage of time at any point.
Especially
So we don't know if
since
these people have been there. We don't know if they've been there for hours. We don't know if they've only been there for an hour or two, because it's nighttime by the time it's over. But I could have assumed that maybe the show just ran into nighttime because it was already sunset when they showed up.
like most of the deaths that we saw throughout the program had the banana splits in teams of 2. So which one snuck off to do what? Are we supposed to believe that Snorky did all the off-screen murders?
Well, okay, let's talk about Snorky. Let's talk about Snorky real quick. So, Snorky is the one animatronic that is the least prevalent for most of the second act, until he shows up in front of the kids and they're just like, "Oh, Snorky won't hurt me. Snorky's good." I'm like, "How the fuck do you know that?" Like,
Because
and
Snorky's my
Snorky then
favorite, and
just
I'm 4
helps,
years
and then
old.
Snorky just helps them. Okay, okay,
Does
Snorky's a good guy.
does this programming have humanity or not? Like, what is this?
That's this movie's so bad. This movie's so bad.
But yeah, like I will say, the scene in the boiler room, which is what I'm gonna call it, is fucking disturbing. Like, I'm not going to give them this, because when they go down there, not only is like the ground and the passageway just filled with dead adult bodies, all the children are being held hostage, and what's
in
happening
literally a Freddy Krueger ass boiler room, like fire and other spots and things like that.
And the fucking robots are doing versions of their skits, but like needlessly gruesome, because like they are burning Stevie's corpse. Keep in mind, Stevie's been dead since like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
My favorite part of the movie, the mail's here. Fucking flamethrower the fucking body.
Yeah, and they're murdering the fucking
the executive
that was like, you're canceled, by ripping off the limbs, which
I thought the dude had already died, because I thought he got killed off screen when they first showed Drooper in his office.
Yeah, but that's the thing that makes me so mad, that this movie's whole conflict is a software update malfunction. I am making quotation marks. Is the fact that none of the cruelty that they're having at this point makes sense with a robot malfunction. Because that's the thing. Robots are efficient. If they're going to kill people, sure, let's say that's a security programming thing, right? They wouldn't go on to mutilate the already dead bodies, and they
why would
hold
the
kids
robot
hostage in front of these while doing these acts.
It's such a self-conscious. You would have had to have thought about that. In every piece of robot media, the robot is efficient in killing, so it would kill the person as quickly as possible. Why would the robots be torturing this one person?
like not just torturing, but going on to just burn Stevie's corpse, and then also doing this
Hold
in
the
front
children
of the children.
hostage.
Yeah, like this, the third act really screams that there was supposed to be some kind of human hand or supernatural hand at play.
Because my thing, I can make one argument for the kid thing, and it's a very slim argument. But my one argument is that maybe that's the one part of their programming where they're like, oh, we have to entertain the kids, so let's get all the kids. That's my one argument. And again, it's not a good one, but I could see that being the reason the kids are all together.
Yeah, but see, what I would have done if I was the one, if I was Jeff or Jed or Scott, I would have had, this would have been my earlier presentation to show that Snorky is the more humanized version of him, in that Snorky is like the Pied Piper for the kids. He keeps the kids cold. And, you know, the kids are knowing that something bad is happening, but he's the one trying to keep them safe and entertained, while in the background or in the next room, the other ones are doing the murdering, you know? Wouldn't have been perfect, but at least it would have made more sense that their prerogative was to keep the children happy, which would be part of their programming. Kids screaming and crying, I feel like would go against their programming and they would stop what they're doing. I know I'm thinking a bit too heavily on this, but it really feels like there was a supernatural element here that was never said, and it doesn't even need to be a supernatural element. Just make the creator evil and make the programming of this entire murder spree his doing. Have him remotely control the robots.
I'm just going to preface to the people listening to this. Yes, no, we are not only going to talk about good movies on here. I'm just going to be upfront with that now. Ooh.
And this is coming from someone who finds this movie to be fun in a social aspect. Like, I like watching this and riffing it with people. Watching it alone is just a
oh my god, experience. This movie is so frustrating. This movie's so bad.
But when you have
it's not one of the worst. It's not one of the worst movies. This is not one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Oh, but it's not good.
Oh, but when you have a bunch of friends together to riff it, it's fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah, no, I had the misfortune of sitting alone in my living room watching this by myself.
Like, even your dog was like, man, I'm outie.
No, my dog stayed in there with me. He was the one trooper of the whole thing.
Good boy. But, yeah, so after this boiler room scene, you know, we have the mom being like, get away from him, you bitch, you know, that kind of shit.
Literally, they go full Ripley. Like, she's in a tank top and everything, I think. Like,
yeah. And then they save them. Snorky attacks Bingo. The robots are basically dead. The police attend to the survivors. Also, a bunch of character development happens in these last 10 minutes, like the half brother and the page named Paige.
We haven't even mentioned that. We haven't even mentioned the half brother and the studio Paige, like having a very, very badly developed relationship, which also I found really weird. Like, I know that like there are people that can date people that are like 10 or so years older than them. But they openly say, like, this kid's, like, 18, 19, and this girl looks like she's, like, 31. Like, late 20s, early 30s. And I was just kind of like, this feels kind of weird to me.
You know what? Fucking everything's legal. Go for your cougar. I don't know. This movie's stupid.
This movie's dumb.
But, yeah, so, like, yeah, that happens. Zoe and Harley become friends over the course of this traumatic experience so they can go to therapy together with a Groupon. Fucking, like, Beth divorces Mitch. Because Mitch is still alive, guys. Wow. And Mitch is
still alive, even though he fucking disappears for the entire movie after.
Yeah, and also, let's just say this. When he got run over the first time, there was also other shit that happened to him, because I think he got stabbed. Like, shit happened to this poor guy. not poor guy, this shitty guy. But so, like, all the EMTs and the kids and the, surviving parent just leaves this guy in a crime scene. And then he gets run over by Poppy.
He doesn't just get run over. He gets fucking like mulched by the tires of that car. Like his fucking whole body like ragdolls, his head explodes, like there's just blood fucking everywhere when he gets run over.
It is like running over a squirrel, but a human-sized squirrel.
A squirrel with like it's the equivalent of running over a watermelon the size of a human. Like it was it was just fucking blood everywhere.
Oh, like have you ever seen the movie Hide and Seek?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're. Are you talking about the end of the movie
where they explode
the end
with
of the
the
movie?
meat cannons? That's what it feels like.
When they all fucking explode, yeah.
Yeah, imagine that, but less budget and less practical effects. But yeah, Poppy, the end of this movie, sure, is sequel bait. Great idea.
Sequel bait for a sequel that is not going to happen.
Yeah, so like
there's no fucking way this is happening.
Poppy has all the remains of the Banana Splits crew. Why the police and the EMTs who were at the scene didn't try looking for them, I don't know. And
didn't hear a man go, ah! Like from a car. They didn't hear that.
Yeah, and she's singing the Banana Splits on, because she's just all insane going, and then Flegel reactivates. Yeah, but Flegel reactivates and is laughing maniacally. Again, how is this just a software malfunction?
Another thing I had written in my notes was the whole thing of, I don't understand the tone that this movie is trying to create. I don't understand if it's trying to be self-aware or if it's trying to be a straight slasher movie. The movie can't, because there's moments of self-awareness, but there's not enough for me to think that the movie was actually smart enough to go through with that tone. Because at one point, the movie just becomes a slasher movie. It just becomes a straight slasher movie.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like a comedy horror that can be counted as like an equivalent to it, not in quality, mind you, but like
an actual a movie that is self-aware as a horror movie, but is also still a genuine good slasher movie.
Yeah, because like to me, like comedy horror, my first thing is Cabin in the Woods, but that's not what this is.
I was gonna say Scream. Self-aware horror.
Scream works there. Like Scream or fucking God.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
There we go. Tucker and Dale is the best example. Tucker and Dale is a lot better. It's on Netflix. You guys should all watch it.
It's fucking fan. Watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, take 2 Tucker and Dales and see us in the morning. But yes, this one, I don't think it felt like one writer or one director was in charge of the horror parts and one writer was in charge of the comedy parts, and they never
communicated is what it felt like.
Because like the tonal whiplashes that happen is insane. I honestly think that this movie would have been better if they kind of foregone so much of the wink wink nudge nudge stuff. Because the gory, creepy parts of the movie are actually gory and creepy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The gore in the movie's fucking awesome. Like, that's the weird thing, is like the kills in this movie are legitimately really good.
I feel like this movie would have benefited. I can't, obviously.
If they just made it a straight slasher instead of trying to make it a comedy.
Like, people will say, oh, you want it to be a FNAF ripoff. The thing is, I wish that they would invoke the thing that FNAF invokes with having something that should feel safe and make you feel unsafe. Because using an old IP from like the 60s, like the Banana Splits, something that brings people comfort and laughs and all this stuff, but then subverting it and making it just creepy. All your self-awareness is right there. Like, you don't need to add more to it.
Well,
like,
this was during that period of time where Hanna-Barbera Warner Brothers was trying to use their Hanna-Barbera licenses in a lot of ways because there was the DC Hanna-Barbera crossovers they were doing. They were doing those more mature Hanna-Barbera comics like Wacky Races and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where they just seem to be experimenting with a lot of these ideas, but the difference is that I think a lot of those other ideas worked a lot better than this did, because it felt like those ideas were much more refined and they had a much more, like, camaraderie between the crew that was making them. Like, the Mad Max Wacky Races comic is fucking awesome, and it is dumb as hell, but it knows it's dumb as hell. I have not read those, what were those Scooby-Doo comics called? Scooby-Doo
Oh,
Afterlife? What were those
no,
called?
Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, I think it was called.
Apocalypse. I
I
don't
have
I've
those. I have
are they
those.
good? I've heard they're decent.
They are good once you are like, this is stupid, and then you just start to have fun. Like,
That's
just,
I heard the Flintstones comics were really good too. I haven't read
yeah.
those, but
You know
I
what
heard
this
those,
is?
but
What this is that I feel like they watched Chopping Mall. I think it was, and they were like, okay, let's make a movie like Chopping Mall. However, I feel like, I don't know if it was, because here's the thing, the people who wrote this movie are good writers. They are good and they're especially funny. So I'm not shitting on them or anything. I feel like a lot of things with this movie were basically, they were given this IP, and the IP hold, so Warner Brothers or someone, one of those higher up executives, were like, you can't do certain things. Like, you have to constantly do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because, well, this is still our property. I feel like there was still someone trying to hold back the movie. Because that's what it feels like. Because when they are able to go to their fullest gore or fullest creepy, like, it really works. But it just constantly felt like when we were being held back, it felt like some executive was holding a leash and going, because I don't know. To me, there's potential in this movie, and there's potential in the concept. I like Five Nights at Freddy's for that concept of, bringing something creepy out of a childish thing. I just, God, that's the disappointing thing about the movie to me. And that's why, I guess, why it's fun to have it in a social aspect, because when I think about, like, how good it could have been, at least as a fun slasher thing, we could have had Chopping Mall with the Banana Splits theme song. That could have been great.
like, cause it's actually funny. I've watched another movie after the Banana Splits because I wanted to do a side by side. I watched Willy's Wonderland right
Yes.
after, the one with Nicolas Cage. Also,
Yes.
not a great movie, but I felt like that movie was more self-aware of how stupid it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still don't think it was a good movie, but it felt like it had a more it knew what it was more than this movie does, because that movie is just fucking crazy. Like, the
Yes.
Willy's Wonderland is just fucking insane. And it feels like it's very aware that it's insane. And I think that worked a lot better because the movie felt like it had more realization as to what kind of movie it needed to be, and this movie doesn't.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like this movie's misguided. If I was like the person, if I got the keys to the castle and was like, make a Banana Splits horror movie, I would have taken elements from this, but I definitely would have added a supernatural element, and I probably would not have made the main character that drives the force a kid. I think this could have been better if maybe you kept it as like an adult and their kid. One, make the kid a lot younger. Like, make it.
Well, you mean like how the movie felt like it? Well, again, like how I had said, the movie felt like the kid was supposed to be like 5 or 6, but they cast a 10-year-old.
Yeah, but yeah, so have it be that, and maybe have like the other person be like the younger side of a grandparent, someone who would have grown up with the original Banana Splits. Like I don't know, just thinking off the top of my head here, just someone who can fit that range. And then have it be like the Banana Splits are getting rebooted as the animatronics, and they're going to go see a taping of it. But and then you could add the element of if you don't want it to be supernatural with Ghost, fine. Have it be the person who programmed the robots is actually a jilted employee or someone who was worked on the original Banana Splits, didn't want it
What
rebooted.
they did in Willy's Wonderland actually was kind of what you had suggested, is that I remember they explained the backstory of Willy's Wonderland, and they say that it was run by a serial killer, and all the people he had hired were murderers and pedophiles, and he hired all these degenerate, disgusting people. And what had happened was the cops had showed up, and I guess they had all made a cult, a demon deal, and they had all killed themselves, and their souls all went into the animatronics. That's what happens in Willy's Wonderland. And honestly, it's fucking stupid, but I feel like that works more for a movie with this kind of tone than what this movie ended up doing.
Ridiculousness works when you commit to it. And I think that's the issue with this movie, is that it has ridiculous moments and goes really out there, but it doesn't fully commit to that 24/7.
It doesn't go far enough.
Exactly. But yeah,
so
what I would do,
it too safe.
Yeah, so I would do is that I would have it truly be intergenerational, and have the fighting these animatronics that are controlled by a jilted person, or maybe have them possessed by the original actors or something. Maybe in this timeline the reason why the Banana Splits got canceled was because of an accident that happened. Whatever. We could play around with all the tropes all day.
I do want to. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
No, you keep going. I was gonna do a different thing with.
No, and then you would have that whole slasher thing. They trap you in there, but at least when the robots or whatever are being cruel, that it's not just a malfunction. It's because someone has an ulterior motive. And also, I think it would be cool to see a slasher movie where the protagonist is an older person to fight them off. I think that would be pretty neat. Who says the geriatrics can't kick ass?
Let's get Jeffrey Combs. He'll be the dad or the grandpa or whatever.
No. I think I have a cat. I think the Ghost picked a casting choice long ago.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this, Rin.
Dan Aykroyd gave you a kiss.
I'm not doing this.
Dan Aykroyd's holding you in his hands, gentle like hamburger.
Also, your screen turned off. I just noticed.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
Well, now he's holding you gently like hamburger.
Okay.
I'm surprised. You know what? I should have realized.
Too old. I think Dan Aykroyd would be way too old if we did this.
I should have realized that you didn't see it when the Ghost revealed the picture, when I said,
No, I had a feeling it was Dan Aykroyd. I had a very strong feeling it was. Up there he goes.
He was offended that you called him old.
He's 70 years old.
That would have made him 10 when Banana Splits came out.
Well, okay, I think I said 69. I want to be 100% sure. 68. Okay, I was actually a year off.
Yeah, he would have been young enough. But I mean, I also think Dan Aykroyd would just be great as anything in a Banana Splits movie because I want to hear him.
He would have
explain the
been 8. He
logistics.
would have been 16 when the show aired.
I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, point being, that's what I would do. What would you? I'm giving you the little director beret and the little loudspeaker. You have to make this Banana Splits movie better. Go.
Well, I'd probably just want to go more on, because you just said you want it to be more a straight horror movie, right?
Yeah.
If I was gonna go horror comedy, I'd honestly just want to lean more into comedy. I'd want to have a more Tucker and Dale type thing that's much more self-aware. I want the movie to be stupid, but I want the movie to know it's stupid without having all these weird tonal shifts where it feels like they were trying to make a genuine horror movie. I want a comedy that just happens to have really good horror elements to it. Like Tucker and Dale, or like I want to say Evil Dead 2, like something like that.
Both of them are better options than what we got.
Like, it's the thing. You can either do one or you either do the other. And that's the thing. This movie never seems to know what to do with either tone. And like, the movie never leans heavy into comedy, and the movie never leans too heavy into slasher. It's in this weird middle spot where it can't really figure out what to do.
I think we can both agree, though, we gotta fix these It's Always Sunny wannabe written characters where they're not unlikable enough.
Unlikable doesn't mean bad. That's the thing. Unlikable does not mean that they are a bad character. Like, you can make an unlikable character that is a good character. Again, Henson Force, Seinfeld, or Always Sunny.
Well, no, see, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, with the exception of Stevie, these characters are unlikable and bad. They're not, like, to the ridiculous level of unlikable where they could be good characters, but they're not, they're not an It's Always Sunny character.
Right. Actually, I do want to give praise to one thing that we have not talked about, because I didn't really know where to put this. Eric Bauza does the voices for all the Banana Splits.
Which is
and
insane,
he doesn't...
I swore that Bill Farmer was one of them.
No, it's funny because I'd say combined, they all don't have a shit ton of dialogue. I'd say they maybe have like a minute and a half, 2 minutes worth of dialogue in the whole movie. But for Eric impresses me every time I hear him. I guess for those that don't know, Eric Bauza is the guy who currently is doing a lot of the Looney Tunes characters. That's like the thing he's been doing a lot lately.
He's on his way to be like a Mel Blanc type, because
he is.
That man can do so many voice doubles. It's insane.
Eric Bauza is one of the most talented voice actors currently working. It is amazing how much range he has. And I have interviewed him. I have interviewed him twice. And he is one of the nicest people I have ever interviewed. He is so cool.
He worked on Dick figures.
Thank you, Chrissy.
With that, but yes, Eric aside, this movie is a mess.
It's bad. It's a very bad movie.
I recommend people that if you do want to watch this movie, watch it with people. This is not a by yourself watch.
This is a movie. Don't heed my warning. Learn from my mistake. But I think this could be a really fun movie, not just to watch with friends. This could be a good drunk movie. Like a good. Yeah,
you can easily make a drinking game out of this movie. I should make a drinking game out of this movie.
Every time the Banana Splits speak, take a shot.
Oh God, no. Every time Stevie's an asshole, just keep drinking until he's dead.
The kid drink every second that Stevie is on screen.
Every time
Which, to be fair, is not a lot.
Sip. every time the dad is an asshole, take a sip. Don't take a shot because you'll be dead in the first 20 minutes.
Oh, don't worry. He disappears for the film for like 40 minutes. So
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, watch. This is a good social movie. Like any bad movie, it has the potential to be great socially. And I can give this this recommendation as someone who watched it with people. I would say give this a watch for some of the creative parts of it, because there's potential in this movie. But this is not something to sit down and watch by yourself, because you're gonna feel like you just wasted 90 minutes. Oh.
Yeah, just watch Willy's Wonderland. Oh no, there it goes. There it goes.
Oh,
Willy's Wonderland's not a great movie either, but I'd recommend watching that more over this.
Man, so I guess that was the Banana Splits.
Yep. So what's gonna happen now? Is one of us gonna fly off the screen again?
I just have you figured out how to get out of here yet?
No! Lauren found ghost concessions and she never told me where they were, and I haven't found her since. Hey. What are you doing?
I smell something.
You smell something?
I think I smell popcorn.
I smell hot dogs. I smell hot dogs.
I'm coming, popcorn. Yeah.
Popcorn, you get back here. I'm coming with you. I need meat. Ah!
You can't leave.
Why can't I leave? Why am I forsaken to this square? Oh God, no.
Oh, God. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I guess that's it for tonight.
Oh God, Dan Aykroyd, no!